Hi guys and welcome to today's video. Today I'll be doing another makeup declutter. Today I'll be doing all of my larger eyeshadow palettes. Basically everything that wasn't a mini eyeshadow palette is in this video. It's a long one, okay? It's a long road. It's a long road and I'm sorry, but there's a lot of products. If you haven't already checked out my other videos, I have already filmed loads of declutters for this year that have just been other makeup categories. I'll link the playlist up in the eye. I have filmed. Are you ready? Blushes, bronzers and face palettes, highlighters and highlighting palettes, foundations, pressed powders, loose powders, setting sprays, mini eyeshadow palettes, and today I'll be doing the other eyeshadow palettes. So yeah, if you haven't already checked those out, I'll link it all up in the eye so you can go check them out. I have been saying in every single one of these videos, but please don't ask me for makeup that I am decluttering. Speaking for the makeup that is bad, it is not good for the face, I will be decluttering to the makeup recycling centre. They do like a recycling centre where I can clean it all up and recycle that makeup, so it's not going to complete waste, and the makeup that is good and just isn't to my taste anymore will be going to family and friends where they will thoroughly enjoy it and it'll go to a really great home. The other makeup categories I have are the chopping block, which I'm sure I'll be doing a video or two about makeup on my chopping block and whether I'll be keeping it or not. And then of course I have my keep pile. So yeah, let's not dilly-dally because this is a long video. I think I'm just gonna have to do this amount at a time because like you can't even see all of these and it's just so much. There's already a lot here that I will be keeping, okay? I'm just gonna put this as like a preface right now. I'm sure I did it at the beginning of the video. Eyeshadow palette's my favourite, so I'm not getting rid of loads. First one is the Huda Beauty Mercury Retrograde palette. I really like this palette. I think it's a lovely, colourful, muted palette. Really, really easy, really just great fun. I actually gifted this to my cousin for Christmas because I think it's just such a great, fun palette. And I'm keeping it. I love this palette. I'm going to get rid of the slip though. I don't think I need this anymore. Let's just get these out of the way as well because absolutely no way on God's earth am I getting rid of any of my Kaleidos like Futurism palettes. It's just not happening. I've got all 7 here. I collect these. They're stunning. I actually have a video on all of these, I think, so I'll link that up in the eye. I'll link the playlist or whatever. I have a whole Kaleidos playlist, so just to let you know I'm not getting rid of anything Kaleidos. I might as well pick out all my Kaleidos bits now. So the Futurism palettes, the Flower Punk, the Club Nebula by Angelica Nyqvist, and the Escape Pod. All of these palettes, what is this, 10? All 10 of these palettes aren't going anywhere. I've got a whole playlist on them. I'll link them up in the eye if you want to go see them. But I love them. Okay, one I am going to get rid of is this one. This is the Too Faced Chocolate Bonbon palette. I bought this for Lily for her 16th birthday. Lily, this is your like, calling to say, or is it the 17th? Anyway, this is your calling to say, if you get rid of this, I will not be mad. If it's already gone, I will not be mad. Mine, I basically dropped this outside of my car as soon as I got it. I wanted to sneak peek it, okay? I couldn't help myself. I went to go open the palette. I was sitting on the edge of my car like a div. The door open. I dropped the palette. It fell onto the concrete floor. The whole thing smashed. The company wouldn't take it back. So yeah, great. I mean, I gave her one still, and then I was like, well, I'm keeping this one because I've already paid for it. And it just keeps smashing up. It's got dusty now. It's a mess. It's lovely. I loved it, but it's going, okay? It's going. I can't do this anymore. These Natasha Denona palettes, I am going to be keeping all of these. I plan on doing like quite a lot of Natasha Denona content this year. So this is the Sunrise, is it? So yeah, Sunrise palette, the little mini one. Love this. Like I said, I'm keeping all of them, but I'm just going to show them to you. This is the Love palette, the Metropolis, very beautiful. Ooh. The Circo Loco palette, which is truly Circo Loco. This is the Lila palette. A lot of these are new to me because I bought them in like a Black Friday sale, so obviously I'm not getting rid of any of them anyway, but that's the Lila palette. This is the Trio Chrome palette. We have the Gold palette, which I love. I mean, I love all of them, but I love this one. I have some more Natasha underneath here. This is the Retro palette. This is the Glam palette. Lovely cool tones. This is the Bronze palette. Lovely warm tones. And then finally I have the Zendo palette. So yeah, keeping all of those. Okay, right, I saw some over here. This one here, this is the Primark one. I don't think I've ever touched this. This is the Rose Quartz palette. I was gonna do a full face of Primark. This still has like the protective slip over it. I actually swatched this in the shop and the palette was just magical. I absolutely loved it and I bought it and I just haven't used it because, I don't know, I just haven't used it. I've got so much makeup. So I'm going to get rid of this one. Someone is going to get some really lovely use out of this. These lovely rosy tones. Really, really lovely. So I'm going to pass this on. Another one I want to get rid of, I think, is the Nicole Concealio and Violet Voss palette. I bought this and I don't know why I bought it. It's really nice. It's lovely neutral colours. You know, you've got your mattes, got some nice metallics, light and deep colours. You know, it's got some nice contrast to it, but I just never pick it up. This is going to be a really lovely palette for someone in my life. I feel like a lot of people in my life, because they wear neutrals and not crazy colours, this is going to be like a perfect in-between where you've got a couple of pops like the terracotta orange, the blue, some of the golds, but it's fundamentally neutral and I feel like someone in my life is really going to get use out of this. I want to declutter it. Okay, two I am absolutely keeping because they are pretty brand new to me. The Shroud Cosmetics palettes. This one is the Arcana palette. I've actually recently just done like a whole haul with these palettes, so I'll link that up in the eye if you want to go see it. This is the Arcana, beautiful. And then I have the Batty Bean. Yeah, Batty Bean. I would call it Butte Bean, but she's changed her name to Batty Bean and Shroud. It's Freaking Bats palette. This is, oh, just delectable. So obviously, absolutely keeping these. Some more that I am keeping are all of my Odin's eye ones here. Honestly, like, I feel like I've chosen the pile where I'm not going to be getting rid of a lot. I'm probably only going to be getting rid of 10%, but this is the Legendary Diversa collection with all of these three palettes. I have already shown these in my haul. I'll just show them one more time. This is the Giant Wolves palette. This is the Hummingbird palette. This is the Red Dragon palette. And then I have the Alva and the Norns palettes as well, which again, I'll be keeping. These are all pretty new to me. So this is the Norns palette. And this is the Alva palette. Okay, keeping this one. This is my Too Faced Just Peachy Matte palette. Honestly, I love this. I really love this. I don't know why I love this so much, but I just honestly do. It smells of peaches. It's beautiful. It's matte. It just goes with anything. Honestly, even though it pulls peach, it just does go with anything, and I can have really deep shades and really light shades. There's some really good depth to this and contrast, so I'm going to keep this. These two Melt palettes. So this is the Smoke Sessions palette. I really, really like the Smoke Sessions palette. I know this has like polarizing views. Some people love it, some people hate it. I love it. I really, really love it. I don't mind that there's only two mattes. I think this is a really nice palette and I want to keep it. This is the Melt Radioactive palette. Honestly, I like want to keep this, but I think I might put this on the chopping block. I need to try this out more. I just haven't reached for it. So I'm going to put this on the chopping block because I honestly haven't reached for it in a long time. And whereas the Smoke Sessions makes me feel like, oh my God, keeping it, love it. This doesn't, like, I just like this. I don't love this. So I'm going to try this out, put it on the chopping block and make a more informed choice about this. Okay, some more palettes I'm absolutely keeping are my Mothership palettes. I think this is Mothership 9. It's called Utopian Dream. Oh, it's really pretty. I love this. It's very unique. Even though it's pink tones aren't unique, but like these four are very unique and I love this. This is the Mothership palette number 6, and this is called Midnight Sun palette. Honestly, I don't know why I was holding out on this palette for so long. I love this one. It's honestly become one of my favourite palettes. Not letting this one go. This is the Mothership 5 palette. This is Bronze Seduction. This is my first Pat McGrath palette and I love it. Very, very beautiful. I think probably the easiest palette for everyone to wear. Really stunning. This is my Pat McGrath Celestial Odyssey palette. This is her Christmas 2021 palette. Obviously relatively new to me. I'm not getting rid of any Pat McGrath anyway, but this is really, really lovely. Lovely if you want to just dip your toe in. To Pat McGrath's quality, it doesn't have any of the Glitz Astral shades, which I think are what make her formula so unique. But this is a really nice like starter palette or just a wider selection of her shades, and I want to keep this. I have another one in here. Oh, here it is. What's this called? This is the Mothership Sublime Bronze Ambition. And this is her little 6-pan palette. I actually really, really like this palette. I think this is a lovely, lovely neutral palette. It's not my favourite by any means in terms of all of the Mothership palettes, but it's really, really lovely. When I wear this, I feel very sultry and very put together. And it's just very grown up. I really, really like this palette. Okay. Okay, let's get rid of some. These two. I'm going to get rid of these. This is the Revolution Earth Stone palette, or Earth and Stone palette. This is trying to dupe the Mothership 3 2. I don't know, one of the first 3 vibes. It's a nice palette, but honestly I just haven't reached this in so long, and I already have Pat McGrath palettes, so why would I keep the Revolution version of it? I don't need this. It's all right. It's like a nice palette. It's a little bit dusty. You do need a setting mist to make some of these special, but I'm going to get rid of it. And the same goes for this Night and Day palette. Yeah, this is like, again, one of the originals. And I think one day I'm just going to purchase the proper Pat McGrath version. These are lovely, but I just don't use them. I don't reach for them. They're at the back of my drawer, and someone else can get really good use out of these. They're really interesting shades, so I want to pass this one on too. Okay, oh god, it looks like I'm going to be keeping pretty much all of this. This is the Nabla Dreamy 2 palette. I really like this one. Nabla isn't honestly like one of my favourite formulas, but I do love the colour stories they put together, and I feel very inspired by what they give. They have a very different formula. I wouldn't say it's that user-friendly, if I'm perfectly honest. I don't find Nabla that user-friendly, but it's a beautiful colour story nevertheless, and I'll be keeping this. My Cleona Stained Glass Singles. I don't know if you'd class this as a palette. I'm just going to class it as 2 palettes, but these are my Cleona Stained Glass shadows. I've actually got a video, I'll link it up in the eye, of me swatching this whole collection as I hauled them. Really beautiful. This is an absolute relic, and I'm sorry, but I'm keeping it. This is the Urban Decay Naked, Ultimate Naked Basics even. I've had this for over 5-6 years now, and I mean I've had it for about 5 or 6 years. I love it. I think this is a lovely quality. It's really easy to reach into. I don't use it all that often, but when I do pick up and use it, I like it, so I'm gonna keep it. I told you my eyeshadow palettes would not be a roaring success. It is what it is. These 2 Revolution palettes I think I will be keeping because I just like to support Soph. Honestly, this one is just not my favourite at all, but I think if I want to keep any Revolution palettes, I want to keep hers. So this is the original Soph eyeshadow palette. It's nice. I honestly, Makeup Revolution's eyeshadow palette quality is not the one for me, but I'm going to keep it nevertheless. Maybe if I ever do like a full face of Makeup Revolution or anything like that, I can use these eyeshadow palettes. And this is the Extra Spice palette. I actually prefer this one. I like the colours in it more, and the quality's a little bit better. So, whoa, that was a face. I'm keeping both of these. Sigma. I think these are all my Sigma palettes. Let's look at these. So this is the Sigma Enchanted. I'm not getting rid of any of my Sigma palettes. I love them all. This is the Sigma Enchanted. Very beautiful, very jewel toned, very smoky. I really like this. I think it's very unique in my collection. This is the Sigma Untamed palette. I love this one. I think it's so fun. Honestly, I don't use it as much as I would like to. Sometimes I struggle with inspiration of how to use this, but I really do like it, and I like the quality of these shades. And it's just like a really nice palette, so I'll be keeping this one too. The Sigma Warm Neutrals. Obviously, I got rid of my original Warm Neutrals palette, and I will be keeping this one as it is exactly the same shades, exactly the same formula. I love it. I love it a lot, so obviously I'm keeping this one as well. The Corda Rosa is also a beautiful one. I don't think I've actually ever used this. No, I've never used it. Love that for me. But this is the Corda Rosa, and it is a stunning palette. I need to use this. I feel like this is a very refreshed modern version of the Modern Renaissance. Like, it's a very kind of now version of the Modern Renaissance. I really like this palette, and I don't know why I haven't used it yet. I really should. It's because I don't have enough time to use all the things that I buy. It's a problem. It's a problem. And then this is the Sigma Ambiance. This is a lovely palette. I've used this a couple of times. This is just like a really basic, neutral, warm situation with a couple of cool tone browns in there. Really lovely. This here, the Jaclyn Vault, the Jaclyn Hill and Morphe Vault. A lot of people have decluttered these, but I honestly think these are amazing. This is a Dark Magic palette, one of my favourites. I think this is so nice. I have created some really lovely looks with this. This one is the Bling Boss palette. Honestly, one that I haven't used that often. It's nice, but I'm not getting rid of any of these because they fit so perfectly in this, so I'm not going to get rid of it. This one is the Arms and Gorgeous. Really love this palette as well. It's just like orange and greens. Very lovely, very easy to wear. And this is the Ring the Alarm palette, which is really nice as well. Honestly, I don't think I'll be keeping any other Morphe palettes. Morphe just aren't my favourite formula, but I thought that the Vault was actually really nice. I know that the controversy around this Vault was just unearthly, just completely out of this world. But I don't mind these. I think these are all right. Yeah, they're not the best quality, but if I ever want to grab for some Morphe shadows or compare the formula, I'm going to use this because I don't have Jacqueline's original palette. I don't have her Volume 2 palette, but I do have this Vault, and that's what I'm going to keep for now. This Melt Mary Jane, I'm going to come back to it. These are all my Zoeva palettes. I'm not going to get rid of any of these because these are very like collectors for me. I actually really like Zoeva's formula. I just wish they would do something a bit more interesting because honestly, Zoeva sometimes do put me to bed. Like, they just snooze fest. This is the Spice of Life. Really, really beautiful. This was a Christmas palette, like copper, warm, beautiful amber tones. Really, really lovely. This is the Caramel Melange palette. Again, really lovely, warm orangey tones. Zoeva, I feel like I don't know how to do anything else apart from warm tones and pink tones. I just want to see Zoeva do something really fun, but yeah, keeping this as well. I love the structure of the palette. Like, look how thin these are and just so sort of compact. And this is the Cocoa Blend. Absolute relic. I love this. I've hit pan on this shade here. I've nearly hit pan here. I love this. Beans Are White is one of my favourite deep brown shadows. I love this. And Substitute for Love obviously is my favourite. And this is just such a beautiful, beautiful palette. Honestly, I think everyone needs this palette and a staple in their collection. Like, it's just such a stunning, neutral, warm eyeshadow palette. I love it. This is the Zoeva Premier palette. I love this. Like, look at the outside packaging, like when you open it like this, but it's so beautiful. This, I feel, is just so sultry and just so opulent and beautiful. So yeah, I really liked this. I've only played around with it a couple of times, but I really, really like it. It's very like 20s. This is the Zoeva Matte palette. I absolutely lusted over this for so long. It's just lovely and warm, and you do like a lovely sunset eye with the purple, the red and the orange. It's really, really lovely. Not to everyone's taste. I don't know why they had or felt the need to have really like two light shades like this. These are kind of similar as well. I don't know why they felt the need for this. I wish they would have gone for like a pink and a yellow perhaps. I think that would have made it more fun. But you see what I mean? Like, Zoeva play it a bit safe sometimes, and it's a shame because their quality is really, really lovely and they can do amazing shades and amazing packaging as well. Like, look at this beautiful packaging. So it's just a shame that they play it too safe. This is the Rodeo Belle palette, one of my first 3 palettes. This is honestly not the colour story of my dreams, but I feel a little bit sentimental about this one, and I really like the blues in here. Pop of red is nice, that pink is okay. It's not my favourite by any means, but I feel like I appreciate that they were trying to go in a different direction. And this is one of my first Zoeva palettes with the Cocoa Blend, so I don't really want to get rid of this one. Okay, and lastly for this side of the drawer, obviously not, this isn't even half my eyeshadow palettes, but I have the Melt Mary Jane palette. The packaging for this is so stunning. I've played around with this once and I was not a fan. And I'm so sad that I'm not a fan because the colour story is up my alley. I love this. I truly love the colour story. I'm going to put this on the chopping block with my Radioactive palette, and I needed to try these out again and just kind of form a better opinion, because if I don't get along with these, I am going to just declutter it even though it's stunning. But it's just, yeah, it's such a shame because I want to love it and it just, the formula isn't giving me what I need and what I deserve. So I'm going to see if I can play around with this in a few different ways and see if I can get it to work. Even if it's a little bit tricky to use, but I can make it work, I'll keep it. But if I can't make it work at all, then there's no point in me keeping this. So I'll put this on the chopping block. Okay, so far, are you ready? $54 palettes. You can't even see them all in frame. Oh god. 54 palettes. The Huda Beauty one is behind here. 54 that I'm keeping. That's so disgustingly big amount. They're so heavy. And I've got 2 on the chopping block. These might possibly return in here, I'm not gonna lie. And then I'm getting rid of 5 eyeshadow palettes. Not good. Not good. I'm gonna write that down and then I'll do like a final total in the end, but I just need to clear the desk. Okay, yet again, I have too many to fit on the desk. There'll be one more round after this, but let's just get started, shall we? I don't think I'm going to be getting rid of any of these, but we'll just walk through them anyway. This is the Too Faced Born This Way Natural Nudes palette. Really lovely. I don't need this, but I haven't really got to play around with it as much as I would like, so I'm going to keep this. I'm also just going to quickly get these out of the way. These are my single like Z palettes and things like that. I've got a variety of things in here, but I'm going to just count this as 4 palettes because it's taking up 1, 2, 3, 4 palettes worth of space. My Urban Decay Moon Dust palette. This is a relic, but I am absolutely keeping this. Really lovely shadows. I love these, and I think they just go with everything. And yes, I keep the packaging because I think it's stunning, okay? I'm a hoarder, I love it. Kind of the same thing goes with the electric palette. This cannot be purchased anymore. This was an absolute OG in its day. I still love this palette, okay? I still love it. I talk about it quite often, in all fairness, so I'm going to keep this one. I won't dilly-dally. Another palette I'm just keeping. I'm not even going to talk about this too much. This is the Urban Decay Vice 5 palette, I think it was, or Vice 4. I really love this palette. This has a lot of sentiment attached to it for me, and there's just no way this is, you know, this is going to be in the casket with me. I love this. I feel like these palettes were the heyday of Urban Decay. Like this period of time, these couple of years, was when Urban Decay was really producing the good uns. Now, I just fall asleep. I forgot I even had this. This is an MUA palette. This is the Burning Embers palette. This is actually a really lovely palette if I can get it open. It's really nice. It's full of neutrals and pinks, and honestly I think one of my friends would love this. Again, a lot of my friends wear neutrals and don't step their toes into colour as much as I do, so I'm going to pass this on because I know it's going to have a better home with someone else than it is with me, and I forgot that I even had this, so it's obviously not being shown the love it needs. The Equalizer 2 palette is pretty new to me, so I will be keeping it. I was actually really outstanded by the quality of this. I was really surprised, and I have got a beady eye for what's coming from Sample Beauty this year. I've got a really close eye to what they're going to be producing, and I'm even thinking about picking some of their other stuff up because I'm really impressed by this. BH Cosmetics, these are amazing, okay? Now, as I'm filming this, obviously BH Cosmetics have filed for bankruptcy. Like I said, as I'm filming this, I don't know whether BH has gone under. I really bloody hope they haven't. This is the Naughties remix. I love these. I think BH's formula is amazing. If they, you know, if I hear whisperings that they are going to go bust, this is the 90s remix. I'm going to pick up quite a few of their palettes because the reason I hadn't picked them up was because I thought BH was so secure, in the sense of like, oh, I'll always be able to pick up some of their stuff. This is the 80s remix. And the fact that they might actually go under and that I might not be able to pick up their quality anymore makes me kind of sad. So I have a bit of a conflict of, do I pick up loads of their stuff so I have it, or do I not because they might not be a company anymore? I don't know. I just, yeah, I might pick up a few more of their palettes that have been exciting me that I don't want to not get. But I love these, keeping these. This is the Luna Beauty Life's a Drag Facelift. This is his latest one. And I haven't got the original, but I got this one, which I'm actually kind of glad I waited out for this one because I actually prefer this. Brilliant travel palette for me because you've got the colours and you've got the neutrals and you've got a pop of shimmers in the middle. I think this is a really cute palette. I actually really like this. I haven't used this enough, but I really like this. I'm gonna keep it. I've also got the Luna Beauty Moon Spell palette. This packaging is honestly just absolutely insane. I'm not actually a massive fan of Luna Beauty's formula. Like, it's nice, it's just not my absolute favourite. Like, I do prefer BH Cosmetics if we're going to compare them. But, you know, I appreciate it. I appreciate the packaging. I appreciate the colour stories. I think I do want the Strawberry Dream and others, but I don't know if that's a collector in me. But obviously I'll be keeping this one because it's just so beautiful and the colour story is lush. My Dominique Cosmetics palettes. I think I have one more after this. I can't quite remember. This is the Latte 2 palette. Honestly, I think I need to put this on the chopping block, okay? It's going on the chopping block because I haven't picked it up enough and I just don't know if I am that in love with it. These shades kind of throw me off a bit, or just this mint kind of throws me off a bit. Sorry, I'm blinding you. This mint throws me off. And I think it makes me not want to pick this palette up because if it was like this, I think I'd pick it up more. But I'm going to put this on the chopping block because I need to make a better decision about this. This other Dominique Cosmetics palette though, the Celestial Storm, I am going to be keeping. I really, really love this one. I've used this like literally twice, which is really not good because I wanted this so bad and I just haven't got around to using it. I literally sometimes lay in bed thinking about this palette because I'm like, oh, I haven't played around with it yet. So I am going to keep it, but I really, really do need to play with this. It's so frustrating that I haven't. This is the Urban Decay Born to Run palette. This is a bulky ass palette and not quite cohesive with the rest of their things, but I actually really like this palette. It's not my favourite in the world, but it is it's got a nice formula. I took this to Iceland with me when Jake and I went to Iceland, so I have got some memories attached to this. It is quite big and bulky, but it has everything in there that I would probably need for, I don't know, any situation really. It's quite nice, so I want to keep this one. I've got a Beauty Bay Pastels palette here. I will be keeping this. This is relatively new to me and really handy. I don't have anything quite like this, so I'm going to be keeping this one. This Dose of Colours Mini Mouse palette I am going to be keeping. Honestly, I really want the Daisy Duck one. Is it Daffy Duck? Daisy Duck? I don't know, the bloody duck one. I want that so bad. I think it's only being sold on Dose of Colours website and it's not being sold on any UK stores, so I might just bite the bullet and buy it. I don't know. I don't want it to go out of stock because I really want it and I really like the quality of Dose, so I might pick it up, but I might hate myself for doing it, but you know, I don't know, man. I just love Disney and I need it. I'm also going to keep this one. This is the Dose of Colours Friendcation by Desi and Katie. This is honestly such a beautiful palette. I'm so sad this was limited edition because honestly this palette is just everything. This is how you create a palette well, kids, okay? This is how you do a palette well. You've got some lovely, like, this one is a duochrome, I think, like purple to blue. This one's a really lovely deep blue, a lovely red, a coppery green gold. Just lovely shades, and I'm never getting rid of this. I love it. Okay, what have we got here? This is the Juvia's The Tribe palette. I love this one of my favourite palettes. Absolutely not getting rid of this. I love it. This is the Warrior 2 by Juvia's. I might put this, oh, I kind of like it though. No, I'm going to keep it. Oh, I love this one. This is the Decay by Juvia's. I love this one. Like, a lot of people hate this and I really like it. I think it has a really cohesive colour story and that I can get really different looks out of this, neutral and colourful. Definitely keeping. The Magic Mini by Juvia's. Again, a lovely colour story. Really fun, has bright pops of colour and yeah, it's just really fun to play around with. So I'm going to keep this one. The Nomad is such a lovely neutral palette and is such a great one. Like, I've worn this to work so many times. Really like this. It's got greens, lovely grungy tones, and I live for the grunge. So keeping that one. The Saharan by Juvia's. I haven't touched as much as I would like, but I am going to keep it. I think I'm going to keep all my Juvia's. I think I need to just play around with them a bit more. This is the Afrique by Juvia's. One I probably haven't played around with the most is this one. And there's something about it which I just don't pick up very often, but when I look at it like colour by colour, and I can see like matchings and pairings of different colours, I'm like, oh yeah. I think it's the bright blue background that just throws me off, because if I look at them individually, I'm obsessed. But the bright blue primary school background just, I think, does it no favours, but I am going to keep it. The Nubian 3 Coral is a lovely palette. This is like perfect because it's got these lovely cool toned greys, like steely greys, and lovely corals and burgundies. It's just like a really interesting mix of colours. I've not got a palette like this, and it's truly lovely. Oh, the Carnival. I love this one. This is such fun. This palette is just fun in a palette. I love it and I'm absolutely keeping it. Yeah, it's great. It's great. I can't really create a cohesive look with just this palette, but I lean into this. I normally pick up 2 Juvia's palettes at once and play around with this. This is so bright. This is bright. Oh, it's just lovely. And then finally I have the Saharan 2 by Juvia's. A lovely one. I love this. The deep mattes in combination with the bright shimmers are just everything. And I love this one. I mean, I love all of them. I just don't play around with them enough. I've got some more Zoeva ones. Obviously, I'm not getting rid of these. This is one of the first 3 palettes that I bought from Zoeva. This is the Mixed Metals palette, and it is just metallic central, apart from this black called Onyx. I love this. It's so pretty. This green is beautiful. This platinum shade is really interesting. They're just really beautiful shades, and yeah, I love this palette, and I love how it looks like Minecraft, really. Like, dig those diamonds, dig those ores. I love it. This is the Heritage palette. I really liked this. I haven't actually played around with this enough. I think I've played around with it once. Sorry, it's gonna be shining all over the place. This is like a Roman baths palette, I think. It just looks Roman, doesn't it? I really, really like this. I don't play around with this enough, god damn it. And I really, really should. But do you see what I mean about Zoeva? They just play it a little bit safe. Like, I really could have got some deep, rich tones in here. And I feel like they just miss the mark a little bit sometimes. I feel like this is just a little bit too safe. But I will keep it anyway, it's really pretty. This is the Jade palette. This is relatively new to me. I said I wasn't going to buy this one and then I bought it, you know, so I feel like that sentence just embodies me, doesn't it? I said I wasn't going to buy it and I did. This is actually a really, really lovely palette. This is a 42 shade palette. Like, honestly, I don't like this size of palettes. They're just too big for me, but it's just really, really nice. There's some really lovely tones in here, and I mean, yeah, it's really, really nice. I've used this for work a couple of times as well and thrown a couple of colours in the outer corner. It's really, really nice, and I like the packaging, so I want to keep it. I'm going to have to put it here though, because I've literally run out of room. Let's go through my other Beauty Bay ones. I've got the Beauty Bay Wilderness. This I was literally lusty over for so long, and when someone said, I can't remember who said it, but they were like, oh, I don't think Beauty Bay is going to restock this. My heart like stopped for a moment and I was like, what? I didn't get a chance to buy this. So I was really sad that day. And then when I saw it come back in stock, I was like, yes, and picked it up. So yeah, obsessed. I love it. I'm so glad I have it. Definitely keeping. Age of Opulence is a pretty new one to me. This is really, really nice. I wanted to buy this so I could compare it to the Book of Magic, which I do have. Honestly, people were saying like they're really similar, but the colours that they've picked are similar, but the tones just aren't. This is more light and this is deeper and more sultry. They look similar, but honestly I think they're more complementary more than anything. So I am going to keep them both. I hate the packaging of this. I think it's just so bleh. Like, you compare it to this, and this is beautiful. This I feel like looks cheap and tacky, but whatever. This is the Sunset Horizons. Honestly, this is not one of my favourite palettes at all. I do love a sunset eye. I just don't reach for this for whatever reason. I am going to keep it because I feel a little bit collectory over these. And I feel like, yeah, there are going to be a few palettes like the Juvia's Place ones that I am keeping for like YouTube purposes to refer to. This AO Coralie one, I wasn't going to buy this for so long, and then it went on sale and I was like, yeah, sod it, let's just get it. It's honestly something I haven't reached for yet. I've just swatched it, I haven't reached for it yet, but it's really pretty, and again I like it for comparison for like YouTube. This is the Nikki Tutorials palette. I was actually on holiday when this released, and I woke up like super early on holiday and was like, no one get on the Wi-Fi, I need this. Little did I know that this would be carried on being sold for ages, which is kind of annoying, but never mind. I really like this palette. A lot of people hated on this. You've got a normal mirror and a magnified mirror. I really like this palette. I have created multiple looks out of this. I think this is a lovely palette, and yeah, I don't know what people's beef is with this. I think it's great, and if you haven't got it and you kind of like Beauty Bay's formula, I highly suggest picking it up. This blue isn't the best blue in the world, if I'm perfectly honest. Like, it's not great if you want it all across the lid, but if you just wanted a wash of blue, or like just to build up an outer corner, or a, you know, winged eyeliner, I think it's really nice. And I really like this palette. I think the metallics as well are really special. So yeah, if you haven't got it, pick it up, because I can imagine once it's sold out, it's probably not going to be coming back. I think they ordered too many. They ordered too many, but I'm glad I have it. Okay, my Colourpop palettes. So this one is the It's a Mood palette. This is actually a newer palette to me. I really like these. These are their 30 pan eyeshadow palettes. I really like these. They do have a, I think it's got 2 pressed glitters in. Yeah, this one and this one. Is that a pressed glitter as well? Oh crap, I think there's 3 pressed glitters in there, but this is actually a really lovely palette. It's very deep, very sultry, and I really wanted this for a long time, so obviously keeping it. To be honest, like I said, I'm going to be keeping most of these. Eyeshadow palettes are my thing, yo! This one is their first 30 pan palette. This is the Kathleen Lights So Jaded. If you've been watching my declutters, you'll know that there's a theme. I love Kathleen, and I will never get rid of anything that she ever, you know, produces. Honestly, this is one of my favourite palettes. Like, honestly, one of my favourite palettes. This is my favourite larger palette. Again, this is 30 pans. It's got a glitter here and here. I actually think the glitter is really nice. It's also got Super Shock shadow up the top corner here. Honestly, I use this palette so often. I actually wore this palette on my graduation day. So again, it holds a lot of sentiment to me, and for a £30, I honestly don't think it is that big. Like, this is the size of my pen, you know, so it's like a size of a notepad. It's like an A5 notepad. It's not huge, and you get quite a lot of colours in it. So yeah, I love this palette, and there's no way this is ever leaving my collection. This one is the Stone Cold Fox palette. This is a beautiful cool toned dream. It's just stunning. Look at this shade right here. Honestly, Magnetic Moon is my gig. I just love all of these shades. I love how it does run quite deep here and then quite pale up here. The contrast is really, really nice. I have used this once, okay? Yes, I'm ashamed. I've used it once. It's not good enough, and I need to use it because why the hell did I buy it if I wasn't going to use it, you know? This is the Bare Necessities. This is like their neutral eyeshadow palette. I use this quite often. This is one, I think this is the second palette they released actually. Second or third, I can't quite remember, but I really, really like this palette. I've used this quite often. It's lovely for work. It's just like a really easy palette to apply to my face. Got some good depth, you know, good contrast, lovely metallics, no glitters, more importantly, and it's, yeah, it's just a really, really nice palette. And then finally, I have the It's All Good palette, which again, I really, really love. Oh my God, look at this mess. Look at this mess. I love this palette. This actually came out at a similar time as the Jaclyn Hill Volume 2. This does have two pressed glitters. This one and this one. They're both pressed glitters. I think, yeah, that's a pressed glitter. I really, really like this palette. I think this is good fun. It's very, very bright. Really, really lovely. The yellow's lovely. All these magenta-y pinks are lovely. The neutrals, honestly, I probably just haven't used some of these neutrals, but I'm more like here. I'm here for this row, like this big bit here. And I love this palette. There's no way I'm getting rid of this. I think it's really good fun in the summer. Like in the summer, this is divine, and I'm keeping it. This Iconic London Day to Slay palette. I don't own any Iconic London eyeshadow palettes apart from this one. It is a really nice eyeshadow palette. Now, again, it's that neutral thing that I know someone in my life is going to absolutely be obsessed by. Do I need it? Absolutely not. This is going to go on my chopping block because I want to just kind of try it out one more time before I get rid of it, because I've only used it twice. I think actually it might have been twice. I've used this twice, so I want to play around with it one more time. If it compares to the likes of Colourpop and I get that sort of vibe, I'm going to get rid of it because I have these colours. Like, I do honestly have them. So see, now I'm thinking, should I just get rid of it? Should I just get rid of this? I'm gonna give it one last hurrah in my chopping block with the intention of getting rid of it, okay? I've got to fully love this to keep it because I have these colours. So I'm gonna give it one last hurrah in my chopping block video. I will do a video on that, by the way. I keep saying chopping block, but I will do a video on my chopping block makeup. And yeah, one last time, and then I think it can be passed on to a friend because I have this. I have this. Okay, here we go. Let's leave the controversy for in a minute. This is the BePerfect Carnival, the Antidote palette. This is relatively new to me. The quality of this feels really, really nice. I haven't actually applied it to my eyes yet, shamefully. I just haven't had a chance yet. This feels lovely, and I think I'm going to really, really enjoy this. This colour story honestly excites me the most out of all of these palettes because it's like neutrally colours, like sultry. If I could just put myself in a palette, it would be a sultry palette, whether it be colourful or neutral. I just love the sultry vibes that this brings, so definitely keeping this one. And I'm also going to keep the Carnival 3 Love Tahiti palette. I honestly didn't have the best of times with this palette, and everyone was saying to me like, oh my god, it's such a shame, I love this palette. I don't know what it is, but I think I've got a potato one, because when I compare this formula to this formula, they're just worlds apart. So I am going to keep it, but I think I need to, I don't know, I think I might do a video on these. Like, did I get a potato version of the Love Tahiti? I'd love to know. I don't really want to buy another one, but I'd also love to buy another one to know if I got a potato one, you know? So yeah, I don't know. It's just, it is what it is with this one. It's a shame because I really love the colour story of it. I think it's really fun, but not quite the quality I thought it was going to be. Okay, here we go. More controversy over here. So this is the BH Cosmetics Desert Oasis. This is one of their very early on palettes. Whoops, very early on palettes. I think I'm ready to get rid of this. I'm ready to get rid of this. This has got some lovely highlights down the side. You could easily use this as eyeshadows, and it's got 4 matte, no, I can't count, 5 matte shades, and the rest of them are shimmers. I haven't reached for this in a long time. This is amazing quality. I love this so much, but I have too much makeup, and I'm gonna give this away because I think someone else will really enjoy this. It's a lovely quality palette. Yeah, it's a shame, but I just can't keep everything. I'm not using it. I'm not showing it the love it deserves. So it's gonna go. I'm thinking of putting all of his palettes that I have like in a separate drawer so that it doesn't have to be in my main collection and I can just use it when I want to use it. This is the cremated palette. He literally couldn't have timed a worse release. Honestly, he could have called this anything. He decided to do it in the beginning of a pandemic. Honestly, like, I love everything in here. The shades are beautiful. And like, I did laugh when he released this because I was like, oh girl, you fool, oh god, and like just cringed a bit. But the quality is actually pretty nice in this palette, and I do really like it. It's like a really, I hate the packaging though. Like, the packaging literally looks like Thanos has snapped him, and I feel like this is very metaphorical. This was the start of his downward spiral. This is his career floating away. Poor Jeffrey, you silly, silly man. But yeah, like I said, I've paid my good money for these palettes, so I'm not going to get rid of them. I just don't really show them on camera that much unless I really feel inclined to. This is the Mini Breaker. Gives me Halloween vibes for whatever reason, like very Thanksgiving-esque, very autumnal. It's a nice palette. I haven't used it as much as the others, but I'm not going to get rid of it because I own it. This is the Controversy palette. Again, so hilariously metaphorical for the beginning of the demise. It's just hilarious. This is the later one because they did have one without the green. Oh, and I didn't buy it. And then they popped the green back in and then called it Put It Back. And then I purchased it because I was like, ooh, that green. I'm obsessed with greens. I actually really, really like this palette. I've applied this through the crease, this on the lids, this on the outer corner. It's nice. And then I've applied these blues. I feel like it doesn't really go with one another in that sense. Like, it's a little bit, ugh, but I'm gonna keep it, obviously. Don't hate me. I mean, do what you want, to be honest. Free world. But I bought the Blood Money palette recently. I really, really wanted this. I'm obsessed with greens, and I do like Jeffree's formula when it comes to these like chest style palettes. There's literally no room for me to even show this, but I really like the formula of this. I've applied it once and I haven't had a chance to apply it again. I really, really like how he's assembled this and put this palette together. I think it's really nice and very bougie. Very bougie. Fifty palettes. The earth's core is shaking. 50 dang palettes. God damn it. Two palettes I'm decluttering and 2 are going on the chopping block. So these are the 2 going on the chopping block, the Iconic London and the Dominique Cosmetics, and the 2 I'm decluttering at the BH Cosmetics and the MUA. Okay, this is the last of them. Out of all of these, I see one palette that I'm gonna get rid of, but we will do the rounds of this anyway. Let's just start off with all the Urban Decay Naked palettes, okay? I keep all of my boxes because I'm a hoarder, okay? The Urban Decay Naked Original, keeping, okay? It's a classic, it's a memoir. It's never leaving my collection. It's staying in the box, pristine as it was the day I bought it. Obviously I do use these, by the way, still to this day. Yes, you heard it here. Urban Decay Naked 2, arguably my favourite palette that they ever came out with in terms of the Naked line. Love it. Naked 3, possibly not my favourite one, but I still like it. It's really, really nice, very of its time. What came after this one? The Naked Smoky, I think. Was it the Naked Heat? No, the Naked Smoky came after that, I think. Naked Smoky was the next one after that. Really an underrated palette. I really, really liked this one. I think I liked it more after, like, years to come than when I bought it originally. When I bought it originally, I was a bit overwhelmed by the deep smokiness of it. As I've got older, I have embraced this more. I feel like the world wasn't ready for this at the time. Which one was the next one to come out? I think it was the Naked Heat came out next. I remember getting this, it was really fun. Really lovely red tones. Actually not my favourite palette because everything tends to look the same when you apply this, but It's a collector's piece, you know. It's a collector's piece. That's the Naked Heat. Then the Naked Cherry came out. I could be messing up my order of things, but I'm just trying to remember as best as I can the order of these came out. This is the Naked Cherry. I really like this one. It has got contrast, so not everything looks the same, but it's very beautiful and berry toned. I wish they called it Naked Berry and not Naked Cherry. I don't know why they called it a cherry. Have you seen this many cherries before? I've seen more berries. If they called this Naked Berry, I think it'd have made more sense and they could have, I don't know, expanded off of it a bit more, but never mind. Then we had the Naked Reloaded, I think was next. I think. Oh god, no, maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was the Naked Honey. Okay, anyway, it doesn't matter. Naked Reloaded. You guys told me to get this. Honestly, I don't like this very much. I'm keeping it for collection purposes, but one day I think if I was going to get rid of any of these, this would be the one I'd get rid of. I don't like the pan size being different. I bought this down to peer pressure, and to be honest with you, I just don't love it that much. It's okay, but it's not my favourite. Then we have the Naked Honey. I think I'm pretty sure this came out before the Naked Reloaded, but never mind. The Naked Honey is honestly stunning. Like this quality, I just saw the leaps and bounds of quality improvement. This quality of shadow is just lovely. I don't think it was anything we were really anticipating. It's just truly magical, and I should use this more. It's really, really nice. This one is the Naked Ultraviolet palette. I haven't used this a lot, but the packaging is beautiful. I like this, I just don't love it, okay? And I think that's why I'm not going to get rid of this, because I do like it, but honestly, I just wanted more from this. I wanted the quality to be a bit better, a bit more saturated, and it just wasn't, but it is what it is. This is the Wild West palette, the sort of latest palette into my collection. I know there's the Naked Cyber. I bought the Naked Cyber and it came to me broken. I was just like, oh, I couldn't be asked to rebuy it. So, and honestly, I haven't even played around with this one yet. I think I've played around with this once. And this is the Naked Wild West. I like the colour story in here. There's something about it I'm not that much of a fan of. It's just, the thing is with the Naked palettes, it's like, at what point am I just collecting them for the sake of the name and actually enjoying them, you know? I'm not going to pick these up over some beautiful Odin's Eye palettes or even my Jeffree palettes. They're just not the first things I pick up, and I think that's where I'm starting to think, like, why am I buying these? Am I buying these because of the name, or am I buying them because I like them? And unfortunately, I don't think it's the latter. So I haven't picked up the Naked Cyber yet. I mean, I did, but I haven't repurchased it after it came broken. Honestly, I think I just need to play around more with my Naked palettes and decide if I want to just keep buying them, or, you know, is this the end of a road for me? The packaging's beautiful on this one. I am going to get rid of this Morphe 39A palette. I'm sure one of my friends would really, really love this. Morphe is an okay brand. I just don't need this massive bloody palette in my life. Look how chunky this is. I think if you don't have a lot of makeup, this is great because it offers you a bit of everything in a very safe zone. You know, there's pops of colour, but they're not, I mean, most of it is like 30 iterations of brown, to be honest with you, and I have got this in spades, absolute spades. It's beautiful, but I just don't want it anymore. So I'm going to get rid of this. I've been thinking about this for a while, so I'm going to get rid of it. Newsflash, that was the only palette I'm getting rid of, by the way, so I'm just going to entertain you by going through all the ones that I'm keeping now. This is the Jeff Cosmetics and Shane Dawson Conspiracy palette. Ooh, controversial! This is actually a really lovely palette, okay? Unfortunately, it's him that made it because I'd be using this all the time if not. I actually really like this palette, okay? I think it was a sellout for a reason, in my opinion. The quality's great. I love it. I'm never getting rid of it. I use it off camera quite a bit, so yeah. It's also like a piece of history, you know? This was like a moment. This was something very different in the makeup industry in terms of the series that was created. I'm keeping it. The Alien palette is honestly one of my favourite palettes. This is coming into the casket with me. The Mausoleum, whatever you want to call it. I love this palette so much. I know this had polarising views, but I freaking love it. I hate the packaging and how bulky it is. I mean, I love it and I hate it. It's really, really cool, but equally it's kind of annoying. But anyway, the original Blood Sugar. My god, this takes us back, doesn't it? Here we go. Here she is. The palette that basically started it all for Jeffree. Let's be real about this. This is what created the kingdom that is now Jeffree Star Cosmetics, what feels like the kingdom, the evil kingdom. I honestly love this palette. I loved it when it came out. I was obsessed with it. I used it all the time. I even used this going to work at my Sainsbury's job. Yes, I was that girl on checkouts with bright red eyeshadow. I love this palette. I still do, to be fair. It's a piece of makeup history. This was absolutely sold out after sold out and really brought the brand to light. I also love this VHS style case that it's in. I think that's really quite cool, so keeping this one. This is hilariously, like, the backstory for this is the blue blood. I was actually on an Iceland trip with Jake. We were on a holiday in Iceland, and this was being sneak peeked, or rather, sorry, the release video for this came out whilst we were in Iceland, and I used my precious 4G or 3G, whatever it was, to view this, like, the launch video that he put out, and I saw the outside and I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna be obsessed. And as it opened, I literally remember going, oh, I think it's the pinks that throw me off the most. Honestly, if I take away the pinks, like these ones here, oh god, sorry, this angle's really bad. If I take these away, I love the palette, and that one there. If I take those away, I love this palette. But for some reason, the pinks and the beiges make me hate this palette. So it's such a shame, really, because I think, like, even holding it like this, it's making me really hype it up and really love it. That monochromatic blue in different tones, I'm loving it. The pinks ruin this for me. I have a very fond memory of Jake laughing at my reaction to this palette, and he said, is this not what you were expecting? And I was like, no, this is not what I was expecting. He's like, oh, are you not going to buy it? I was like, no, of course I'm buying it. But, like, god damn, why is there pinks in here? So, and they're not even nice pinks. They're like gross pinks. I haven't used this in a while, but yeah, the memory of this is still really, really fond, and I'm obviously keeping this. The Bloodlust palette, this is the bulkiest bitch in my bloody collection. I swear to god, I can't get rid of the packaging because honestly, look at this. It's like a Cadbury's box of chocolates. It's amazing. And then inside is this literal piece of art. If I can get out of the box. It's a literal piece of art. It's a velvet, like crushed velvet palette. Look at this. It's magical. Honestly, I don't think I have owned a bougier palette ever. You can't, like, you don't have to like him at all to just say that this is artwork, okay? It's a bit stupid for a palette, let's be real, because, you know, it's ridiculous. Inside, honestly, the colours are nice. They're okay. I wish they were just a bit more richer in purple. I wish we got some more rich tones. I feel like we've got a lot of mid-toned purples in this palette, which more like pinky magenta. But, you know, he never said that this was going to be a monochromatic line. He never said that his palettes were going to be monochromatic. It's just what he wanted to create, which is fair enough. I like the pops of red and, you know, the pops of periwinkle purple in here. It's nice. It's a nice palette. And this one here, the teal, it's a nice palette. It's not my favourite one that he created, but nevertheless, I'm still keeping it because it's just beautiful. It is just truly beautiful. This is the Thirsty palette, and this is one of his summer collections. And it's supposed to look like a little icicle pop. I really like this. They're all like the water droplets. I didn't like how he over-sexualised this, but no, we're not going to talk about that. These mattes up here are luscious. These metallics are really interesting, and these mattes down here are really lovely. These metallics, I feel like, are a formula that he was honestly testing out, and I'm not sure if the response wasn't what he wanted, but he didn't bring these metallics back. So yeah, I mean, I love these. I think all of these metallics are very interesting. They're very like, they're like ores, you know? You've got silver, platinum, gold, bronze, kind of copper tones, I don't know. Like, it's really, really nice. It's an interesting palette, and I mean, I quite like it. This is the Beauty Killer palette. This is his first palette. Honestly, not my favourite. I feel like this is very early Jeffree, like MySpace Jeffree. I keep this for collection purposes, if I'm really honest. I don't keep this because I like it that much. It's not a bad palette, but it's just not my gig anymore. So yeah, I keep it very much for collection purposes. And then this is the Androgyny palette. This is actually the first palette from Jeffree Star Cosmetics that I purchased. I really liked the look of this, like these sultry, beautiful tones I thought were lovely. I used this quite a lot, and I like this. You know, again, I like that sultry style of makeup. Yeah, I think it's really nice. Okay, finally, we move on to the Anastasia Beverly Hills palettes. Modern Renaissance, obviously keeping. This is the beginning of an era of eyeshadow palettes. This and the Naked One from Urban Decay, I feel like were the eyeshadow palettes to start eyeshadow palettes, if that makes sense. Like, these were the eyeshadow palettes that started the I want eyeshadow on my face trend more than anything. I feel like this, or like they came around when the hype really started. I keep mine in the boxes because it has stupid velvety packaging that gets filthy when you even look at it. So yeah, keeping it, but in that packaging. The Soft Glam, this actually might have been the third one, but never mind. The Soft Glam is obviously something I'm going to keep. It is loved by so many people. It's such a lovely neutral palette. Honestly, this isn't my favourite at all, but I appreciate this for what it is. So yeah, like I said, I'm keeping all these. There's no point in me saying keeping this after every single one. This is the Norvina palette. This is actually really, really lovely. I didn't buy this until much later on. At the time, this really didn't grab my attention because I was like, oh, this isn't my colour story at all. But actually, when I started looking at them individually and pairing them in like duos almost, I could see why everyone really loves this. And yeah, it's a lovely, lovely palette. It's really, really nice. It's not the sort of tones I thought I'd go for, but it's lovely. Ah, the most controversial palette from Anastasia Beverly Hills, the Subculture. Yeah, this is duff quality. Like, this did not perform as well as the other palettes, and that is a great shame because I love the colour story of this. I really wanted the Prism palette, but I just didn't buy it, and now it's out of stock and discontinued, but whatever. Like, there's so many palettes from Anastasia Beverly Hills that are discontinued now. This is a really, really lovely colour story. I have not picked this up for years, to be quite honest with you, but I'm going to keep it for collection purposes. I like looking at it. Maybe I'll dupe this out with singles one day and see if I can recreate it, because I really, really love the colour story. It's very grungy. This is the Riviera palette. Honestly, I don't use this much at all. It's really, really fun. It's really bright. It's just fun. There's not much to say about it, to be honest. It's just a fun colour story with some lovely metallics and some lovely mattes. This is more of a collection piece for me, but there you go. Like that. What have I got to say? It's nice. The Carly Bible palette, the one that I'm not going to show the front of too much because people have got like phobias of holes or something. I don't really know, but it's a bit of an odd one. This is actually a lovely, lovely colour story. Very muted, very wearable, something that I haven't worn a lot of. And again, it's one of those palettes that I want to wear more of. I just don't think of it when I go to wear an eyeshadow, but this is honestly a really, really lovely palette. You've got warms and cool tones in one palette, and yeah, I should play around with it more because honestly there's some really, really lovely iterations of colours and looks I could do with this. So yeah, it's stunning and I should really give it some more love. The Alyssa Edwards palette, I actually picked this up in TK Maxx. I did not pay full price for this because honestly I did not need it after having the Riviera palette. I didn't really want this, but I, for some reason, picked it up for collection purposes. It was pretty affordable. It's nice. I've used it a couple of times. I've used these for like eyeliners. I've like wet the shadow, made eyeliners out of them and paired them with some of the neutrals. And that's how I've worn this palette quite a lot. Like, I like it like that, using these as pops of colours rather than creating an actual look with them. They do stain. They do stain. That's all I want to say. It's a nice palette, honestly. Not my favourite. This is the Jackie Aina palette. Bloody hell, this palette. I feel like she did not get her moment that she deserved with this palette. Maybe she did, I don't know. This palette is bloody scrumptious. Really, really scrumptious. She did such a good job with this. I've used this quite a few times. There's one of my hairs that's just fallen on it. I have used this so many times and I love this palette. It's just so lovely. The combinations of colours, like she really did this. She really did that. So yeah, honestly, this one and the Carly Bible palette are my favourites, but this one is lush. Love it. This is the Amrezy palette. Did she have an Amrezy palette before this? Did she have one? I think she had one before this, didn't she? She definitely had a highlighter, but I think she actually had, this is her second one. This is a lovely palette. I actually picked this up in Beauty Bay for a really discounted price. I think I paid like 20 odd pounds for it, which is really affordable. And I can't believe I hadn't picked it up before. I would have paid full price for this. It's a stunning palette. The reason I didn't pick it up is because I thought it was very modern Renaissance with a pop of blue. That's how I viewed this. But this shade Barb, honestly, stunning, and all of these shades are beautiful, including the pressed glitter Gemini. There is a pressed glitter here, but I actually think the pressed glitter is not that bad. Like, I don't think it's actually the worst pressed glitter ever, but yeah, I really, really like this. I love the pink glitter. Is this not fun? It's just such a fun palette and I can see why everyone loves it. Okay, last but certainly not least, yes, I have two of these. Yes, ring the shame bell. I don't care. Obviously, I'm not going to get the other one out because they're exactly the same. But this is the Sultry palette. I picked up two because it was limited edition, and this is honestly one of my favourite palettes that I own to date. One of the best palettes. When I think of going out and having fun, this is the palette I look to. For whatever reason, if I want sultry, I mean, it says sultry. Look at me. I've been saying this the whole time, is that I love sultry vibes. This is just my vibes. Smoky, cool toned, but not grey, not ashy. just bloody stunning. When I think of a smoky eye, I think of this, and I love this palette so much. So much so that I bought two, because I'm impulsive. Yes, shameful, I know. But there we go. That's it. Let's just count what I've got here. 29 eyeshadow palettes that I'm keeping from this section, and obviously I'm just getting rid of the one. So I want to clear the deck, and then I want to tot up every single palette that I'm keeping and decluttering and chopping block, etc. I did not do good. I did not do good at all. It's not good. I kept 136 eyeshadow palettes. 136. I decluttered 8 and I've got 4 on the chopping block. So out of 148 eyeshadow palettes, I got rid of about 5%. And the goal was 20%, so whoops. I feel like even if I got rid of all of the ones on the chopping block, which I can't see myself, I can see myself getting rid of like two or three off the chopping block, but one of them, I don't know, like I don't think I'll be getting rid of all of them. So I did not do so well with this category. But I think by next year, now that I've like got rid of some of the wood, like I can see the wood for the trees, I feel like maybe next declutter, maybe next year, I'll be a little bit more ruthless, because I can actually see what I've got and I can love or hate what I've got. I don't know. I didn't do too great with this one. I'll admit, not good. Nevertheless, I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you have, do not forget to give me a good old thumbs up. My next category that I will be decluttering, I haven't actually filmed the next lot yet. I'm trying to film it in like 2 phases because it was just too much, okay? It was too much for one day. It was just exhausting. But my next category will probably be around like eye products, like eye singles. If I can fit in like eyeliners, mascaras and brows in the same video, that'd be great. But I'm just gonna say like eye singles will be the next one, like glitters, eyeshadow toppers, creamy eyeshadows, pigments, that sort of thing. I think that'll be the next video, so be prepared, okay? Please do ring the bell and subscribe to be notified of when I next upload those videos. I upload 3 to 4 videos a week, which, you know, is kind of every other day, so that's what I aim for. So please do ring the bell, because you'll be notified of those videos when I do upload them. Check the other videos out if you haven't already. Take care, stay safe, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!